Hey everyone, today we're diving into something pretty amazing: how a prophecy from ancient Israel and a political plot from the New Testament actually come together to tell one single powerful story about unity. It's a theme that really hits home, especially during the season of Lent.
So you might be wondering, how does that even work? How can a prophecy from the Old Testament and this really tense, dramatic scene from the New Testament, how can they mirror each other so perfectly across centuries? Well, that's the mystery we're gonna unravel today.
All right, so to start, we have to go way, way back. Our journey begins hundreds of years before Christ at a time of real division for the people of Israel. We're kicking things off in the Old Testament with the prophet Ezekiel. Now, you got to understand, he was speaking to the people of Israel during a really, really tough time. They were scattered, living in exile, and just dreaming of being reunited in their homeland. And right in the middle of all that despair, Ezekiel delivers this incredible vision of hope. I mean, what a stunning promise. Listen to the specific words here from this Old Testament passage. God himself will step in to make them one nation, and this is key, put them under one king. For a people who felt divided and totally leaderless, this vision of a unified kingdom under a single God-appointed shepherd, well, it was a radical message of hope. Okay, so hold that thought about the shepherd king. Now, we're going to fast forward several hundred years, and you're going to see how this ancient promise pops up again, but this time from a totally unexpected source. We're now in the New Testament, in the Gospel of John, and the scene is super tense. Jesus has just performed this unbelievable miracle of raising Lazarus from the dead. And as you can imagine, the religious authorities are freaking out. They're actively plotting against him because they see him as a huge threat. And this is where it gets absolutely wild. The high priest, Caiaphas, is arguing that Jesus needs to be executed. He thinks he's just making a cold political move. But the New Testament writer, John, points out that it's actually an unconscious prophecy. Caiaphas has no idea, but he's accidentally predicting that Jesus' death will be the very thing that will gather together, not just the Jewish nation, but all of God's scattered children. So when you see them side by side like this, the connection is just breathtaking. On the left, from the Old Testament, you've got Ezekiel's promise of one shepherd gathering his flock. And on the right, in the New Testament, you have Caiaphas accidentally prophesying that one man's death would gather God's scattered children. I mean, come on. It's two totally separate moments in history, from two different parts of the Bible, pointing to the exact same story of unification. So, okay, this is a fascinating story from history, but what does this ancient idea of gathering have to do with us today? Well, this is where the season of Lent really comes into focus. Now, for anyone who might not be familiar, Lent is this 40-day period in the Christian calendar. It's really a time of preparation before Easter. It's when believers kind of slow down and reflect on the sacrifice of Christ, the very event that Caiaphas accidentally said would gather everyone together. And that's the real kicker here. Lent itself becomes a modern-day reflection of that ancient gathering. It's a shared 40-day journey where millions of people all over the world are intentionally focusing on the same central story. It creates this powerful sense of spiritual unity that directly echoes Ezekiel's promise from the Old Testament. So you see, Lent isn't a season of scattering, it's about intentionally coming together. All of this story and history kind of brings us to a more personal place, a call for that same unity in our own lives right now. This simple prayer really captures the heart of everything we've talked about. It's a modern plea that echoes that ancient hope. It's a call for the Good Shepherd to keep doing the work of gathering a world that so often feels divided and uniting us in a peace that's bigger than all our differences. And that leaves us with a big question to chew on. We've traced this call to unity from an ancient prophet all the way to a modern prayer. So, in our own lives, in a world that can feel incredibly scattered, where do we find our call to unity? Where are our chances to gather instead of scatter? Thanks for digging into this with us.